problems that I see that we're having is a crisis of confidence in the institutions.
Right.
And I'm just going to talk about those three because that pretty much sews it up, right? Governments, churches, or religious leaders, and business. And those are all places that individuals place their trust.
Yes.
They hand over their own personal responsibility, rightly or wrongly, I'm going to say wrongly, to somebody else to make decisions for them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And
so we are right
and
now.
We're found all three of these to be lacking.
Leave your lack of awareness at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome to Carl and Mike.
Baker's Dozen, number 13.
Lucky 13. Kind of different for us. We're out here in a enclosed patio of the coffee shop.
Yeah, so we don't know what the sound's going to be like.
So you're going to have car sounds instead of the little rumbling of people.
Well, if this babe would turn her Range Rover off, we are in Dallas after all. You know, it's going to. Of course, it would be a Range Rover.
Yes. There really aren't any more cars in Dallas. It's all SUVs and trucks, pretty much. You know, if you're driving like a, Ford Mustang or something, you're
a pussy.
Outnumbered.
No, Ford Mustangs.
Ford Mustang's a nice car.
Actually, the new ones, I kind of like them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you could have any car right now, what car would you have?
Ooh. Oh. I know exactly what I would have.
Really?
They don't make them anymore. It's a MZ3 Coupe. BMW M is Z3, which was the coupe, not the convertible. A two-seater M. I drove one time. It was just screaming piece of stuff. Plus, I like the butt on them.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like them, but they only made them for a few years.
Yeah.
I'd like to have one of those.
Nice.
Please send it.
I'd like to have my car that I had when I was a youngster that my grandfather gave me that my sister wrecked using it when she wasn't supposed to drive it and totaled it, hitting
What
it.
was it?
It's a 1965 Buick Grand Sport. And it was the smallest Buick body with the biggest Buick engine at the time.
Really?
Had a racing rear end and dual pack mufflers, and this sucker would take off at a stoplight.
Grand Sport. What year was it?
65.
65.
Test model. It was a test model. So it was like 3,000 pounds with a 455 engine.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No headrest. 65. That was
You
pretty.
would whip you.
Headrest,
So I would go downtown Des Moines.
Was it a stick?
No. But you could. You know, I played it like a stick.
Oh, okay. So it had a floor shifter.
Yeah. But we'd go downtown in Des Moines there, and, you'd have these souped-up Trans Ams and stuff like that, and all looking hot. And got my little Buick, the little silver Buick, and I would just destroy them from one light to the next. I was untouchable.
Everybody knew who you were.
After a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Untouchable. But that's the car I would like to have again. My sister, Lori, if you're listening, the pain is still deep with this one.
My dad always used to buy cool cars. We had a 66 Cuda, Barracuda.
Oh, yeah.
Fastback.
Uh-huh.
It was awesome. And that was back then. For whatever reason, it seemed like we were trading every 2 years. And he traded that for a 68 GTO.
Not a big GTO fan?
No, GTOs are good.
Oh, so you were happy with that? Yeah.
Okay, we're going mobile here because the damn...
Michael doesn't like the sun in his eyes.
Yeah, the sun sucks. Okay, here we go.
We're going to actually move our whole studio.
That's the beautiful part of having a
From
mobile
one table
studio.
to the next. I have to get my lemonade. And we may edit this.
And there we are. We're set up yet again.
There we are in Studio B. So cars. Cars are a guy thing. I don't know. Is cars
Do you want
as
the pickle
important?
this guy left on his plate over here?
Like the paper?
No, the pickle. You want
No.
the pickle? No? Okay.
You're asking me if I want to eat food from other people's tables?
Yeah, you really don't want to do that. Did you ever wait tables?
No. Never did it. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you eat food from people's tables?
Yes.
You did not eat food
No,
from people's
no,
tables.
no,
That's
we,
just
we would do
disgusting.
that. We would
Really?
do that, seriously.
So they,
Yeah.
was it something had a bite out of it?
College student, no money, hungry.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You would
Well,
eat
no-
the
Well,
food
yeah,
off the table?
if it's sitting there, if it's a basket of rolls and nobody's gotten into the rolls, you're going to eat some of the
Yeah, I
rolls?
could go for the basket
Okay.
of rolls, but I'm not going to go over a peach that has a bite out of it or something.
No, you don't. Well, you bite the other side of the peach.
So
Or if
there's
the
a-
guy
there's an
started
art
on,
to it?
if the guy bought a steak and he's
Right.
only eating on one side, you start eating from the other side. That way you don't get any of his cootie on you. That is kind of nasty, isn't it? Now I think about it.
Yeah. You had. How hungry were you?
Hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry.
Poor and hungry?
No. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know what you mean. There's a lot of poor in college. Actually, though, the poorest I ever was in. I think I've told you this story before. My first job, waiting for my first check, and I ran out. I underestimated because they took an extra week instead of getting paid every 2 weeks. I would get paid I didn't get paid
Yeah.
till the third week because I had to go through their system. So that last week, I had like 40 cents to my name
For how long? Full week?
for a full week. So here's the problem when you only have 40
You
cents.
can't even buy ramen for that.
You can't buy a bus ticket.
Oh.
So I had to take my car downtown Dallas and get a ticket every day because I didn't have any money for the meter.
Ooh.
So I had 5 days worth of tickets waiting for my first check. Not a happy camper. And I was poor. I had a couple hot dogs, and hot dogs went a long way.
Yeah.
Package of hot dogs was 6-7 meals.
Those are the kind of things you do when you're poor and you got no money. I remember another time in college, I didn't have any money and I needed some food, and they had a free coupon for a Big Mac in the university paper.
Right.
And so I went around and got a stack. I mean, literally grabbed a bunch of those newspapers, and I ate a Big Mac every day for lunch and dinner for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
baby.
to this day, I can't eat those.
Really?
No.
When was the last time you've been to McDonald's?
Years.
Yeah, you know me too.
Years.
You've
Just,
been to McDonald's
you know,
in years.
At some point, you got to go. No mas.
No mas.
No mas.
Well, they did.
Same
They've
thing.
done-
Long John Silver's. Have you been to Long John Silver's?
Long John Silver's got to be the worst.
Yeah. Well, except
Seafood.
Arby's. You know, Arby's, the iridescent meat.
Yeah.
It's got
Never
kind
went
of
for
got that
Arby's.
sheen on it. You know, that kind of metallic sheen. You kind of go, what is that exactly?
In Iowa, I lived in Iowa in college, so we had Hardee's.
Oh, Hardee's. Is that better?
Hardee's,
or,
no,
it's-
Hardee's is
no.
like a poor man's McDonald's or a poor man's Burger King or whatever.
Poor man's.
I did not
Ooh.
like Hardee's.
Ooh. Was it burgers or is it roast beef sandwiches?
No, it was burgers. They try to be everything to everybody at Hardee's. It was just
and
rock
wind
gut
up-
food.
And wind up just turning out shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, college food.
College
Poor.
food.
Yeah.
I was in the dorms, so I wasn't too bad. I
Yeah.
always had food.
Oh, you always had, yeah.
Until I went junior year, and then I was out on my own.
Yeah.
And fast food takes on a bigger meaning.
Yeah.
So what else is going on?
Mufflers. People
You-
really
you're
should
being,
drive mufflers.
Bothered by our car sounds?
Yeah.
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 Well, if this doesn't work out,
Yeah.
we can
we'll
always
figure out.
record.
Well, we'll put it out there anyway. People can suffer through it like we are. I really don't want to talk about this, but it keeps coming up.
Are you talking about the Garner thing?
Yeah.
With the Brown thing?
Yeah.
I know. We talked last week about this, but I
fucking
cannot
keeps coming up.
believe
And the
that
only
video.
reason- yeah.
You watched that video?
Yeah. Well, I saw that video. Yeah. And they have the guy getting,
Begging to be left alone.
yeah, begging to be left alone. I can't breathe 11 times. 11 times. And you know what their defense on that was? Well, if you can talk, you can breathe. I heard
That was
one
the
of them say-
argument?
yeah, that was one of them. That was the cop. You know, the
So let me
guy
get
with
this
the
straight.
slick
So then
back
really you
hair that
never
was
can-
on the
right.
that was trying to defend everybody. I'm sorry. I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy. This is my people, right or wrong, and I'm sorry. We have something on this that we don't have on anything else, and that's a video that shows this guy dying.
Well, the other thing that doesn't make any sense is if that argument is if he can talk, then he's not choking to death. So let me get this straight. So if you don't say anything, they're not going to know you're choking to death. And if you say something, then that means you're really not choking to death. So really, there's no way to choke to death.
Or if you say something, they're going to tell you, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I don't know how a jury looked at that and said, "Yeah, we don't have to go to trial on it." We're just talking trial. We're not assuming guilt here.
Yeah, we're not talking he's going to go away for 30 years. We're just asking for a fucking trial. And I'm sorry, this is just this is it. This is it.
What do you think? Out on the streets, time to riot?
Yep.
What do you want? What do you want done?
No riots. I want done. Trials at a minimum.
That should be. They'll have to be at a federal level.
That's an absolute minimum.
Okay. Here's what I want. I just saw a great thing.
Are we just awaiting another grand jury that says that the cop, it was a righteous shoot when he shot the kid at the park with?
Yeah, we've got that one, and then of course
that coming
yesterday Arizona.
Oh yeah, I heard
shot
about
another
that.
one.
Yeah.
So we got one going on every day here now.
There are a few states that haven't weighed in here. We need to get everybody in.
Yeah.
Rhode Island, you need shooting, and
what I want, I saw a great thing. It showed a guy being, charging a police officer in Australia with a knife. And it showed, and there was another example of another guy in St. Louis during that Brown time where he had that kind of crazy, and he had the knife. Yeah. In the St. Louis case, he shot him dead. In the Australia case, he shot him in the leg.
Yeah. Oh.
So I'd like that as a first resort.
You mean they would stop charging then? Yeah.
Yeah. People won't charge if you shoot him in the leg.
Did you read the Leonard Pitts? Do you read his columns? Editorial. It was in yesterday's paper.
No, what did he say?
It contrasted the kid that was shot in the park immediately. As soon as the cops pull in, boom, you're gone. With a white guy with a semi-automatic weapon standing in the middle of a parking lot, and the white cops took 40 minutes to talk him down, and he was threatening to shoot him and call him all kinds of names. Yet, for some reason, they were able to show some restraint and talk this guy down, and he surrendered his guns. Could be just a coincidence. Could be
talk the white guy down. Huh?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But the 12-year-old black kid, let's shoot him.
Yeah, it's on site, pretty much. There's definitely a double standard going on here. And there definitely is, police with the militarization of our police. Yeah. I really don't understand why the right wing aren't all over this, since they're the ones always worry about the government. Last I looked.
Oh, would you think? That would be,
It doesn't make sense to me. But also, there must be some kind of training going on that says shoot to kill, because they ain't shooting them in the legs. They're not. They're definitely not doing that in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They're not.
But it worked in Australia.
Yeah, it works real well. You shoot someone in the leg, they're gonna.
Maybe people are built differently in Australia. Maybe
their
legs are weaker or something like that. And, if you shoot them, you pretty much.
Yeah. I think shooting in the leg is very way to go. If you're going to shoot, that's where you shoot first.
Yeah.
Unless someone's shooting at you, if you're going to take the first shot, you shoot for the legs.
Yeah.
Because that's going to get their attention.
Or if you're a big macho son, they'll shoot the gun out of their hand.
Even if they got a gun, they're going to look at their leg. It's going to change the equation. Especially right now.
Yeah, I'm sick to fucking death of talking about this over and over again. But as long as it keeps happening, it's going to be a part of the conversation. Yeah. Everybody's conversation.
Well, and across the country, there's been protests.
Yeah, and
I think it was very. Sometimes it seems like life does something in a very weird way. So we had this Michael Brown thing, right? And we had this great debate going on, and then this Garner thing happens, where it's like everything that Michael Brown didn't have a video, didn't have, but it's like life is trying to give us a lesson or something. I know it's kind of weird.
Now you have all this stuff. What are you going to do with it? Well, we're going to let him go.
Yeah, but the same result comes
Yeah,
out.
the same result. And there's
So, do you know what is the rule on the federal can come in and do what? They can come in
the
and say,
federal's going to work on this one. They're going to nail his ass, or they're going to nail several of their asses.
So how do you come out on a federal situation? How does it elevate to that?
I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of it, but it will.
At least on the Garner thing. You think it will on the Brown thing as well?
I don't know. I don't know. There's going to be some serious shit hit the fan on this one.
Yeah.
And there should be. There should have been all along. And it just,
it seems to me that race relations have gotten worse, or maybe it's the pus coming up from Obama. It just, and Fox News isn't helping at all.
No.
I mean, it seems like the ugliness of racism. I mean, it's always been there. Obviously, had the 60s. Yeah. They got civil rights. But it seems like Fox News is giving it a face to a certain, in other words, pre-Fox News, I'm not blaming all this on Fox News, but pre-Fox News, Ku Klux Klan was, that was the view of it. Mm-hmm. And you didn't really see them. They came out at a protest at something, but that was about it. Yeah. It's like between the internet and Fox News, you've really got it's really out. It's out in our face, and now it's more than out in our face. We're seeing the results of it with cameras now. With the advance of technology, maybe it's always been there. Probably. I'm a white guy, so I don't know this.
And that's part of the thing. And and I'm not going to blame it on Fox News either. It's all the media. What you have.
So is the media showing what was already there?
Yes. Or Yes.
Yeah, but when Megyn Kelly on her little show there, bends over backwards to defend, saying this Garner guy was using excessive force, and struggling or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, goes
which guy? The guy in New York,
the black guy that died. I mean, really, she's bending over.
How many of them were there? How many cops were there?
6.
Yeah.
And then and then they laid him like a piece of meat on the ground for a period of time there. But her bending over backwards on Fox News, it's just like a reflex for them. If a black guy gets killed by a white police officer or any police officer, pretty much the police officer's right and the black person's wrong. Pretty much across the board on that.
That's the appearance that it gives. It's exactly what it does. And imagine how that plays in Australia. Okay. Mm-hmm. How does that play in Hong Kong? How does that play in France and England? What does that make us and them look like? And I find it.
And let's talk about this a little bit more, because I think it's not really. Is it a race thing? In other words, there's race problems in England and stuff. In France, there's a lot of minorities and stuff. The cops aren't killing them. So what did? I would like some investigative reporting to go down. Has something changed in the training procedures of police officers compared to, let's say, 10 years ago or 50? Did something happen along the way when maybe they got this militarization stuff, or they learned riot controls? Something's happened to the,
Well, I think getting just having the military hardware kind of amps it up. Okay.
Has there been a change in the recruitment of police? Something's changed. The killing, especially of blacks.
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station. That kid in Bay Area got shot up. I mean, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know the stats. How many white police officers killed black men year in, year out?
I'd like to know what those stats are.
That would be good to know.
Yeah.
If it's even kept. But something seems to have changed.
Well,
to me.
I think there may be that part of it. I think there may be another part of it that's this conversation has been going on since there's a black president. That there's by a certain segment of society and certain segment of the power elite, there's absolutely there is a thing on their part to give him no quarter whatsoever. To not even give him a chance. I mean, it was Mitch McConnell that came out right after he got elected and said, we're going to do everything we can to make this a one-term president. Didn't really want to care and see what he had to do or what he wanted to do.
How does that relate to the police? shooting
I
black men.
think when you see your leaders disrespect and feel this way,
Yeah.
I think it makes it a lot easier for people to fall in line. Remember, most people are not leaders; they're following what people do. And so I think when you have people that are acting this way and talking this way, and these are the ones that are supposedly the leaders of your tribe or your party or whatever, or just, of the government, and they're saying this guy is illegitimate, this guy is a criminal, this guy is wasn't even born here, he's a Kenyan, he's a socialist, he's a king, he's acting like a tyrant, we're going to do everything we can to stop him, everything, the dialogue that has been spewing forth for the last 6 years from a certain segment is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
To me. I can't even fucking fathom. And there's going to be some dickheads out there that hear this and go, oh, he's just a liberal. And I've said before, I voted for Richard Nixon the first time. And if that doesn't cure you, I don't know what would. But no, there are other people that I voted for that were Republicans as well. Daddy Bush.
Yeah.
And I think I may even voted for Reagan once. But so don't give me that bullshit and say what I'm telling you. This is a human thing. And when you
But the argument will be that we didn't show George W. Bush any respect.
No. This goes way beyond. anything.
How is that different? That's their way of disrespecting Obama.
That's
we disrespected George W.
again,
Bush.
That's just. Well, okay. Let's say that they can do that, and then we'll say, well, okay, yeah, but you did Clinton. Then they're going to say, yeah, but you did it. How far down the line are we going to take this? Who's going to stand up and go, yeah, this has got to stop on both sides. This is bullshit.
Right.
And part of the thing is free speech, and you're free to say, everybody's free to say what they want to and believe what they want to. But the spitting out lies is another thing. When we don't like the fact that George Bush gets us into a war because he lied to us about, WMD, that's one thing. But when you say somebody wasn't born here,
Right.
they're a Kenyan, they're a socialist, they're a king, they're doing all this kind of stuff, basically.
Yeah, I didn't.
And was there stuff that was said about Bush? Yeah. Mainly the fact that he was stupid and not up to the job.
Yeah.
Which, sorry, folks.
He was.
It was.
I wouldn't
And
have
we're
had a
paying for it
problem
now.
with a Republican president. That was, I didn't have it that much. I didn't vote for him, but I mean, his daddy boy. George the Senior.
The elder Bush. Yeah.
I didn't have the vitriol
Yeah.
that I had for George W. And the reason I did that, one, is he lied about and took us to a war that we didn't belong in, and then all the other stupid shit he did. He just did stupid shit after stupid shit.
Didn't feel that way about Reagan either.
Quite frankly, I probably wouldn't have as much vitriol towards Jeb Bush.
Yeah. No.
Jeb Bush is a smarter. I'm not saying I'd vote for Jeb Bush, but he's a smarter.
But a lot of the stuff
person
that
than
I
his
had
brother
about George the Younger was Dick Cheney. That was his first decision was his worst decision.
Dick Cheney, hiring him as vice president.
And that guy just is an evil, evil motherfucker. Anyway, but that's another story. But what it gets down to, we're getting into this. I read this article yesterday or today, and this guy was making the point, and I hope that it's not true, that there's this trying to make people feel like they've got part of the financial dream of the United States and the American way of life by allowing them to buy things by getting in debt versus people that can afford to just buy it. And I was going, oh, really, I hope that that's not something that somebody would do. I don't think. And that's another one of those things that somebody lays out
So
there.
you said you read an article
that
said that people are getting the American dream by going into debt?
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Well, I know, but it's been set up and allowed for people to get more to get more in debt, to feel more wealthy by buying cars they shouldn't be able to afford or houses they. And I don't want to believe that that's the case. That there are a group of men somewhere and that, again, that's another one of those kind of stories that I don't think anybody can prove. But it's something that starts a rumor or a urban myth.
So you're saying that there was a bunch of people that said, hey, we're going to make credit card rates low.
No, I'm saying this guy said that he was making the point that it appears that that's kind of thing, what would have happened. It could appear that that's, and it's kind of like, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't want to believe that story.
Yeah.
Just like I don't want to believe,
I don't ever believe too much conspiracy kind of things.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They're using these conspiracies. People on both sides are using these conspiracies to kind of divide.
Yeah. If your arguments are based on conspiracy, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
A,
unfortunately,
people aren't that smart. B, people talk.
Well, I think a lot of times people latch onto conspiracies because they're not that smart. And they don't want to dig, and they don't want to find the information. And a lot of times the information is not there, or there may be certain kinds of bits of information that would allow somebody to justify that.
Yeah.
Or people are very articulate
I listen
in what it is they say, and by saying something in a certain way, they imply.
Yes.
And yes, I don't know.
I think I'm going to quote Saint Oprah here.
Saint Oprah, okay.
And she said, and something that actually this struck me, and I've used that since. She said, people will reveal themselves. People will tell you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gotten really much better at listening.
Yes.
For people to tell me who they are.
Yeah.
And they will tell you. Wilson, the cop, told me who he was in that interview.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say it by what they didn't say,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they say it just by listening. People will tell you.
What they say or how they say it.
Right. How they say it,
Or
what they say, or what they
don't
didn't say.
Yeah.
Right? And you just got to listen.
like
I'm finding
that.
that's a lot more truth for me when I'm listening to things. And
So Our Lady of Cable,
Our Lady
Saint
of
Oprah.
Cable, yes,
Saint
said
Oprah.
that, people will tell you who they are. And it's actually true. They really do. Even in, I was reading, even in this is a mundane thing, but I was reading a little sports blog, and in the comments sections, and someone said, I may be a dimwit, but blah, 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 and then they went off on this rant. Well, you know what? They're a dimwit.
Yeah.
And they told you they were a dimwit. I didn't tell them they were a dimwit, but then I thought, you know what? Now I'm looking at what you're saying. You are a dimwit.
Yeah.
People will tell you who they are. And you just got to listen. And
I like that.
And you can see that on Fox, when I listen to Fox News or MSNBC, really anything. When people come on as guests, sometimes it's a little harder when they're reading but when they're reading talking points, then they're telling you something too,
Well, they've had more of the people on MSNBC. These fucking cars, man.
We are in an enclosed patio.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going. Anyway,
next to a parking lot.
A lot of the commentators and people that they have on MSNBC who are black, almost to a man, would say, we've had these conversations with our fathers or with our sons that when you're stopped by a cop, keep your hands on the wheel. Do not.
Yeah, that sounds like that's pretty much.
Yeah, keep them up in the air or on the wheel. Do not reach for anything. If you reach for something, tell them what you're doing. All this kind of stuff. I didn't have that conversation with my kid.
Yeah,
my
I didn't
son.
either. I would never have had that conversation.
And see, here's the thing. I don't hear them saying they're having those conversations with their black daughters.
It's a man thing, you're saying.
It sure appears like it, and that's kind of creepy too.
Yes.
So and so I don't know what's going on with that, and I
think there's. Here's I'm gonna take a shot at it, and I'm probably gonna get yammed on both sides for this. But here's my shot at it. My shot at it is as cops deal with crime. Okay, so they're dealing with, and most crime is happening with poor people. Okay, So they're dealing with a higher percentage of poor people are black or minorities. So they're dealing with minorities at a higher level on a day-to-day basis, and they see a lot of shit. Okay, whether it's black or white doesn't matter. It's drugs. You know, it's us having a drug policy that treats it as a crime as opposed to a disease. Okay, it's people all fucked up. You know, and you take someone who's drunk and angry, and there's angry drunks and there's non-angry, right? An angry drunk is a dangerous person, gun or no gun. Okay, I think they see all that shit all the time.
And that's what they believe society is.
Well, at some point, no, that's what they believe a black male is.
Yes.
Right? I'm saying yes, there's some cops that are just racist pigs and shouldn't even be on the force. But I'm saying
that's something that needs to be
there's
weeded
another
out.
Group of police officers that just seen too much, been on it too long, and now jump to stereotypical conclusions.
Yes.
And are on the lookout for a black man because that's where the trouble's going to be.
Yeah.
Is that fair? No. What do you do about it? You need tons of multicultural training.
Yeah. Well, you know,
cops need to have tons of I've had some multicultural training, and it made a big difference to me because we are in multicultural training. We are in the group of power, so we don't even see because we're not a target group because we're men. Number one, we're white. Number two, or middle or upper middle class. Number three, I mean, you just don't even know what you don't know.
no.
There was an example that they gave in the multicultural class, and they said black women in particular. So they had a black woman and a white woman, right? And they're cheering their son's basketball game, you know. And the white kid scores the basket, and the white mother goes, "Johnny was great. You know, God, he's been practicing really hard. You know, I'm so proud of him, right?" And then it goes down the court, and now the black kid shoots the basket, scores the basket, and the black mother goes, you know, the white mother goes to the black mother, "You should be proud of him." "Oh, yeah, well, you know, you should see what he did earlier today," you know, that kind of attitude. And so they said, well, where does that come? Why was the initial reaction of the black mother to just kind of put it down? "Oh, he's not that great," where the white mother was pushing up, right?
Yeah.
Well, because this goes down the line here. The black woman, back in the day, 100 years ago, if you had your son, black son, was doing something really good, he could be taken away and sold as a slave. Okay, and that is like deep inside the culture that gets passed down. It's not even on a conscious level. Okay,
Don't draw attention to yourself.
Don't draw attention to yourself.
Right.
Right. Don't draw attention to yourself for police officers.
Right.
Well, that goes back to don't draw attention. Don't be that strong, that good looking, that on top of it, because
smart.
you're going to get bought and sold, and ripped away from this family.
Yeah.
And I don't even have the capacity to imagine that. But when they said that, I get that.
Residual stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's. So
Well,
there's
no,
stuff,
I think
you know, and you go,
I
"Oh,
think
well,
there
come on,
could be
get
some-
over it." That it was 150 years ago. Well, no. If great grandma treated, you know, said that to grandma who sold to grandma,
Well,
you know,
but
it goes
you know,
down the line.
there's residual effects from, you know, and we've talked about this, you know, in our own families. You know, my family grew up in Mississippi. There's residual effects, racist comments and bigot behaviors and attitudes that are passed down from whites.
Right.
Years and years and years and years.
Right.
So they're still playing the same roles they were back then without trying to hammer it out and trying to stop it.
Think
trying
that
to
far back. I mean, my father. I mean, I would say over 50% of his humor came from comments of race.
Oh yeah.
Jokes, whether it be a Polish joke. Yeah. He had black friends. That was unusual. You know, lived in Chicago, and he had black friends, and they would make jokes all the time. I remember he's riding a bicycle with his black friend and asked him, well, this was a joke, but this is the mentality. You know, I said, "You better ride a little further behind me so when the guns start firing, I won't get hit."
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I mean.
And they both kind of laughed nervously.
They both laughed, yeah.
But
there's
one
an
of them
element of truth to it.
Yeah, one of them a little more nervously than the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd say a lot of the humor that I learned, my father was a funny guy.
Yeah.
But a lot of his humor,
Yeah.
came from a racial
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he wasn't, he wasn't calling them bad names or using the N-word or stuff like that, but he was just making jokes. That's just, and it was, black could have been Polish, could have been
Yeah.
Italian or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can, look at kids today, I think they don't understand it because it's assimilated, but it hadn't been that long ago.
No, it hadn't.
And God, we could argue it's still there because
Oh,
we just had black guys getting shot by cops all week.
No,
So
no, it's still there.
how much better are we, or how much worse? I love Chris Rock's take. I think I said that last week, did I?
I tell you,
Where he said it wasn't a. Chris Rock said, "We don't have a race relations problem. It's just whites are less crazy than they are now."
Yeah.
That we had black men that could have been president a long time ago. We just
We're just now having white people accept it.
Right.
Vote for it. Yeah,
Right.
There've
So
been,
he's just
there've
saying,
been
hey,
good people all along.
All that's happened, all that's happened is whites are less crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a truth to that.
Yeah, and he's coming out and saying some really good stuff. Charles Barkley's coming out. He's whether you agree with what he said.
What did he say?
Well, he was saying. I think he took more the side of the kids in Ferguson were wrong. Kid in Ferguson was wrong.
The kid in Ferguson was wrong?
Yeah, kid
Why?
in Ferguson. Well, he just said, I don't.
Which part was
remember
wrong?
what it
Was
is.
it the cigars, stealing the cigars, or was it the?
Well, yeah, he said this kid was a grown. He stole the cigars.
You don't shoot
like
someone 10 times for
No,
stealing
no.
cigars.
But and what's interesting is
You don't shoot unarmed person. Period. You only can shoot if they show you a gun.
Yeah, there's some discussion going on there too. And I don't within the black community, but I think what Chris Rock said, I think is dead on. I think it's dead on.
White people just aren't as crazy as they used to be.
Yeah, and yeah. I hope. I want to hope that's what it says. Like on one of the other episodes, they go, all I can do from my own standpoint and that of my family is try and ferret it out. Wherever I see racist comments and those kinds of attitudes, change it within my own world, within my own family. And everybody needs to be doing that. Everybody needs to be doing that.
That's your personal responsibility.
Yes, your
around your circle of influence.
Your personal influence. Your personal responsibility is to take care of it within your own family. But it extends beyond that, because whenever you're around anybody that's mouthing off, making comments like that, it's not good enough to not join the conversation.
You need to speak up.
You need to speak out and speak up to where that person understands that you don't agree with it, but the other people in the group understand that you're taking a stance against it.
You almost really got to get to the point where they become embarrassed for what they say.
Yes.
Because a lot of times they're
because
trying
if
to
they're
be
not-
alpha dog, right?
if they're
trying
not-
to be alpha dog with talking some smack.
Yeah, and if
you
they're-
need, you
and
need
if
to
they're-
take the alpha dog down, and that's sometimes a scary thing for people.
It is a scary thing, and that
But
gets
you know
back
what?
to
The
the
only-
whole bully kind of
yeah,
thing that
sure.
we were talking about, and that's
Gotta
that
confront the
alpha
bully.
dog,
Yeah.
or the the mouthpiece that's trying to be funny, trying in a very lame way to be funny, and to be the alpha dog, or to try and take part in the conversation. You go, no, this is really not funny. Just
With that kind of thinking, that
yeah,
we're trying
and
to
just
fight
say
against.
this is not what I want to be part of. This is you're wrong. However you want to approach it, it doesn't matter.
For any kids in the thing, and even adults, don't try to be friends with, or not be friends with, but try to look up to someone who puts people down, bullies people,
and
tries to
the other thing
manipulate people.
This morning, there was 2 or 3 commentators with Joe on, Joe in the morning. And they were black, and they were saying that this hands up thing, and he's going, no, it shouldn't be hands up, because hands up was a Ferguson thing and that guy, Joe's still saying that guy was, there was some guilt there, so you're using his thing, and then somebody said, well, I can't breathe, Roland Martin came up and said, "No, the hands up." He said, "Way before this happened, my dad was telling me keep your hands up on the car wheel, keep your hands in the air, keep it." So it really doesn't matter what it is, what the symbol is for this group. Just take it and run with it.
Right.
And if it's hands up, if it's I can't breathe, I don't care what it is, but it needs to be branded. It needs to move forward. And it needs to be universal. And it needs to be, the kids need to hit the streets. Folks, we hit the streets in the 60s. That's why you can look like you do today without getting hassled. Get out there and do something.
And one
get
thing
out there, get off your asses and do something. We all should be.
One thing I noticed that hasn't brought up about those football players is they probably have dealt with their own police brutality.
Sure.
Or,
and they had their conversations with their dads,
right,
or their uncles.
Right.
They know somebody that this
well,
is.
Let's face it. How many black men are in prison?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, if you really, really want to tackle this thing, it's two things. It's a drug thing, and it's a class thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's poverty.
Yeah.
Poverty. When you got poverty, the easiest way to make money, really sometimes the only way you're going to make really good money is drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. So those two go hand in hand, okay, and then drugs and drug addiction create their own sets of problems.
Yeah.
So drug addiction on the other side creates the problems because then you got to go steal something to pay for the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So you got it both ways. You got it as a, it's the only employer in town,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Is the fast track to making money
Yeah.
is drugs, and then on the backside of drugs, you got if you're using it, then you gotta keep getting it.
Yeah.
And you gotta deal with drugs as an addiction problem on that side of it. B, you've got to deal with it on an economic side of things.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, it's
and
a difficult...
start to invest in some kind of infrastructure, some kind of pathways out of that.
Yeah.
And then, underlying all of it is education. And both three things tie together: drugs, lower income, and education.
Yeah.
And I think, they put billions of dollars in education. We got a fucked up education system in this country. They're going to need to fix that. And I do think there's some this teacher union thing. I think you got to break that on that end. On the drug thing, you got to treat the addiction as a disease.
Yeah, not just a criminal. Yeah.
And it's going to cost some dollars. And you know what? You're going to need to take some of those dollars.
It's costing dollars now.
It costs either way.
It's costing dollars now.
So am I calling for a tax? No. I won't even call for a tax on it. But you know what? I will call for a reallocation of funds that we do spend. So some of that military money needs to come over here.
Yeah.
You know what? Sorry. That's the way. You don't want to raise the taxes? I'll go for the Grover Norquist argument, even though I think that's crap. Then reallocate the money.
Yeah.
Because the money's there. You're just putting a lot of it in the military. And nobody in the country really wants to be going that direction much anymore.
Yeah.
The McCain-Graham mindset.
Yeah.
So let's take the money from military then. We won't have to even raise a tax if you're so crazy about that. But to me, the money that our tax money should be to go to where it's most needed. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Internally.
And it's not needed in another fucking plane or another ship that ain't going to be used. Okay? We got a lot of money in this country going in taxes. Allocate it the right way. Allocate it to things that are going to make things better. I'm done. World solved.
No, I think that's good. There's a lot of there's a lot of infrastructure things that need to be built.
We've got bridges. I mean, why can't the budget, instead of going to different departments and all this shit, I mean, just be this thing that each year that it gets decided, and have a lot more flexibility in it. Okay, so guess what? This year, we're gonna pay salaries, and we're really not gonna build any weapons this year. This year, we're gonna build bridges. Mm-hmm. This year, we're gonna build roads. You know, we may go back next year and buy the aircraft, build the aircraft carrier, but the money this year is getting allocated this way.
Well, because then
don't you do that in your home? 1 year you have certain goals for each year. So what's the goal? Why is this bureaucracy thing where it just keeps running?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's say, hey, this is what we need. This is what the country needs right now. We need some investment in solar or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And each year we make a decision. Yeah, looks like we're going to war with China. okay, we're going to need to put money in. I mean, that's what they did in 19...
Build some tanks.
That's what they did in 19... All companies stopped making stuff, and we all built...
Let's breed some horses.
In the 40s, we started...
Get the cavalry going.
Yeah. That. So, you know what? I'm fine with that. Let's decide what we need on every given year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It's just the problems are fixable, but the system is not allow the problems to be fixed. That's the big problem. And so how do you fix the system? It's been rigged pretty good with gerrymandering for voting. Doesn't change incumbents very much. There's a lot of lobby money that weighs 3 times. I think the Republicans spent in the midterms. I found out now they spent 3 times as much. So the system actually not only is the system not allowing the problem to be fixed, the system is moving in the wrong direction. Right? The system is moving into a direction that makes it even less likely for it to be fixed. So
is it
first
moving
thing we have
more in the direction where it'll tank out?
The whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we getting closer to my dream?
Your wet dream of total economic collapse.
Total economic collapse. Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. Damn.
And of course, we should explain to people who are hearing us for the first time. You want total economic collapse is your way of kind of cleaning the slate and starting over.
Yeah.
Well, what makes you think just because we start over, we would do things right this time?
I don't know. Just hoping.
You kind of know. Well, it's going to be the same guys or girls.
Yeah.
Mostly guys.
Yeah.
What are they going to do different?
Nothing.
It's going to be worse, in my opinion, because they're going to play off your fear.
You
serious?
Got to be kidding me.
No.
Okay, all right.
Well, it's either that or we build a studio, Michael.
Yeah. No, I don't do a studio. I like the winging it.
We're winging it.
Yeah.
I forgot to put my little timer on.
So I don't know.
Unless you fix the system, you can't fix the problem, and the system's broken. So now what? You have problems that are broken. Bridges are broken.
Well, it's a lot
broken.
easier to spend your time yelling at each other and pointing at each other
Than doing anything about
trying to fix blame than to actually do something about it.
Right. Hey, I'm all for it, Republicans. All you great Republicans out there, give us some good ideas.
Yeah.
Okay? And your idea right now, which is a kind of a broken record thing, which kind of, I would argue, has been proven not to work. We need to strangle government.
Yeah.
We need to take the money out of the government. Okay, well, let's start with the military.
Or defund the parts. That's what they're going to do down. They're breaking it all in separate parts.
There's
three.
There's 3 major chunks of our where our money goes. Goes to Medicare, goes to Social Security, and goes to military. All the other stuff is just if you're yelling about anything besides those 3 things, then you're just yelling and you ain't got shit. Because cutting PBS or cutting all these little dinky things
here's what
not going to fix
what I would like to have
problem.
happen. Okay, cut PBS, but let's get some other people, some Gates of the world or Soros or somebody the other day say, okay, I'm going to fund PBS for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Boom, it's off the table.
How about
then
that,
you can't bitch about that.
Brothers?
I can't bitch about that anymore. Okay, same thing with abortion. We're going to have abortion clinics everywhere, and I'm going to fund them, and we're going to make sure that they get whatever they need to have. Boom, off the table. Now, what are you going to wind up bitching about?
Well, they're going to get down. Because that would be against the law.
It's kind of like this thing. Everybody keeps saying, well, until they secure the border. Okay, let's talk about securing. I want to talk about that right now. Let's talk. Okay, what is I would have to say, what is your idea of securing the border? Is your idea a high fence?
Yes, that's one of their ideas.
A deep and wide moat? Okay. Is it electronic surveillance? Is it going to be the National Guard holding hands all the way across the deal? What is it? Okay, you can build a bridge. I mean, you can build a wall, but it's like they say, you build a 21-foot wall, there's going to be I'll show you a 22-foot ladder. Okay?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, you can electrify the fence, but I'll show you somebody that'll unelectrify the fence. You can dig a deep moat, and I'll show you somebody that'll swim across it. You can make the Rio Grande deeper and wider, and it's really not going to matter because, there are people that get on boats in Cuba to go to Florida. There are people that get on boats in Africa to try to get to Greece or Italy. There are people on boats in Vietnam that try and get to wherever, and that's way wider than anything you're going to be able to dig or
I'd be
or
really
fill up
pissed
with
if they
water.
wasted the money building a
it would be
wall
okay.
from California through
So now,
Texas as opposed to fixing
Talk
our
to us
bridges
about
and roads.
yeah. So now, talk to me about securing the border. What does that look like? What is that going to cost? Who's going to do it? Is it going to be a bunch of Tea Party people with lawn chairs that are spaced about every 10 feet? That's fine. If that's what you want to do and they're all volunteers down there with their own little guns and they want to shoot people, fine. Put them down there. Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, what is your... Because, see, I look at that. I look
gonna
at the
have people
idea.
shooting
I look
both
at
ways.
that
It's
bullshit
what's
about securing the border as a lost leader. They're just saying that because they don't want to talk about everything else. They say, we can't talk about anything else until
Right,
the
the border will
is
never be
secured.
secured, so
That
we
border's
never have to
never gonna
deal
be.
with immigration.
You show me a secured border in the world. Where's a secured...
I
show
think they'd
me
probably
a
argue
secured...
Israel.
Huh?
They would probably argue Israel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that didn't
That'd be
keep
the
it-
closest.
And that hadn't kept
It
anybody
kept them out from those killing those people
digging
recently,
tunnels
yeah.
underneath, has it?
No, it hasn't.
No. And it doesn't
That's
keep
a
them
very
from-
good point.
Yes.
They had a secure border, and they
Yeah.
went and built tunnels.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Well, they
money's-
found the tunnels.
If the
You're right.
demand is strong enough,
Yeah.
you ain't
They
gonna
found the
let them-
tunnels. They blew
right.
up the tunnels. Good for you. That's great. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to move over 10 feet and dig another tunnel.
see, I
or
think
they'll
I
go
think I
down
like
deeper.
the Republican. Here's my conspiracy hat coming on. Your Republican's secret plan is just to make our economy so shitty that no Mexicans will come across the border.
Well,
And they're well on their way
It-
by stopping Obama at every step.
it's shitty for certain segments of society.
I was just kidding.
No,
just
but
kidding.
no. But it's a certain But so I think that's bullshit, and that's a way. And what they do is they put off answering the hard questions. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for answers.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to volunteer something. And they say, "Well, what is your answer?" I don't know. I'm not the one that's hired. I'm not the one that has all the information. I'm not the one in the position of responsibility. But you know what? The people that aren't in the position of responsibility are fucking doofuses.
Right. Or,
Across the
to
board.
me, even worse. So there's the Dante's rings of hell, or levels of hell.
Yeah.
I almost can,
Carl
there's some-
is well read.
Yes. So we have this, somebody who's stupid, okay, to me is at a level higher than someone who knows and just plays politics with it. Mm-hmm. Because someone who knows and they could fix the system, they could make a deal, and they don't for the betterment of people because they want to play this fucking game, or they want to manipulate people for power. Those people deserve a special place in hell. Way belong somebody stupid. Fortunately, our Congress has both.
Yeah.
Stupid people, and we have people that are smart that know
Yeah.
better. Eddie Cantor, God,
Yeah.
Eddie Cantor knows better.
Yeah.
Even Ted Cruz knows better to a certain extent. Though
Yeah.
his soul is so black, I can't
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
why you would
No, there's something there.
something deep and dark.
Yeah, we'll find out. He will reveal himself.
He will
So
reveal
says Saint
himself.
Oprah.
He reveals himself every day.
Yeah. But there will be something.
Yes,
Good.
because
And everybody will go-
something's driving that engine.
Everybody will go,
Oh,
at some point the hood will be popped and you'll look under there and you go,
Yeah.
oh.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, I'm going to change
Next.
subjects.
Yeah. Yeah,
Bill
please.
Cosby. That one surprised me, I have to say.
Yeah.
So there's something driving that engine. But, I mean, this man...
Does he surprise you more than your priest?
it's,
You know,
it's close.
I mean, that's see what I'm
But, I
saying?
mean, Bill Cosby was a role model for so many people. He broke color barriers in many ways.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely.
He obviously had some drive, but there's some real fucking fucked up thing there.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't get that. I mean, I get the shadow. We have shadows. Shadows are that you hide, suppress, and deny.
Yeah.
So he had a motherfucking shadow.
Yeah.
So was it the fact that he had so much power?
Oh, I think so. I think when somebody has that kind of power, they exercise it in ways that are unfortunate. or illegal or immoral.
I mean,
and
because it's so fucking twisted. So it was a power.
Well, part of the thing with having power like that is if you have power like that, you want to see. I think they want to see how far does that go.
Right.
Do the rules that normally apply to everybody else really apply to me, or because I have this power, can I do things to break those rules, or twist those rules, or bend those rules? And I think that's what you see in all levels of power, whether it's in churches, Catholic Church. Okay,
Yeah.
Did they not do the same thing?
Well, they didn't knock people out.
Huh?
Yeah. It's a weird kind of thing.
Well, yeah, no, they didn't knock people out, but they were taking advantage of kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I
No,
mean, that's
you're
just
right.
in corporate America, they say, well, do the rules of Wall Street and do the rules of non-disclosure, do those really apply to me? Do the rules of banking really apply to me? The rules of taxation really
So you're
apply
saying
to
it's
me?
the same
Or do they
attitude.
not, because I can afford to hire
Or I
lawyers
can
and
fuck
tax
people
accountants
over.
to get over? Yeah, or I can switch
literally
people.
or figuratively,
Yeah.
or financially,
Yeah.
or
Do the rules really apply to me? And what is the rule really? And can I step right up to the edge of the rule?
okay, but
and
Bill
still-
Cosby wasn't stepping up to the
No.
edge of
He
the
was
rule.
over it. I'm talking about corporate America now, and so I guess what I'm talking about is all institutions, whether it's church, corporate, or government.
I think-
in government, you see that all.
I think what you're talking about is an attitude.
It's an attitude.
It's
Yes.
an attitude that you have.
Yeah. Yes.
Whether it's towards women,
Mhm.
whether it's towards blacks,
Mhm.
whether it's towards government,
Yeah.
whether it's towards business.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the attitude is, I can
Mhm.
fuck people over.
Mhm.
I can hurt people
Mhm.
without any. I guess that's evil. Is that
Well,
evil?
I can hurt people. I can use people to
Yeah.
get what I want. Whether they
Right.
think they're hurting people or not, I don't know.
Right.
That gets
You're right.
into-
It's where it's better. What you said is better. I can use people.
Yeah, and that
people
gets-
are there to be used.
They're used
for my
they're
my
there to be
aggrandizement,
used by-
my financial gain,
yes,
my status,
and so-
my alpha male.
exactly. So I think you see that in all these institutionals, and that's one of the problems that I see that we're having is a crisis of confidence in the institutions.
Right.
And I'm just going to talk about those three because that pretty much sews it up, right? Governments, churches,
Yeah.
or religious leaders, and business, and those are all places that individuals place their trust.
Yes.
They hand over their own personal responsibility, rightly or wrongly, I'm going to say wrongly, to somebody else to make decisions for them.
Yes.
Okay, and
So we are right
and we're
now-
we're found all three of these to be lacking.
So our institutions that this society has created,
Yes.
are showing themselves to be lacking. So what is life trying to teach us?
Personal responsibility, the importance of personal responsibility, I think.
So this is all that lesson.
I think it may get down to something as simple as that. The importance of taking personal responsibility for your life.
But how do you maintain personal responsibility? Okay, I'm going to jump on another side.
Okay.
Snowden. Okay, you could say he saw some wrongs. Now, whether I'm just going to say this. So let's say he decided he saw wrongs. He wanted to take personal responsibility. The system, or the institution, neither of their were going to help him on that.
Who?
So Snowden.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So, how do you take? And I'm giving Snowden the benefit of the doubt across the board,
Yeah.
but I'm using it just as an example. So here's a guy you could say try to take responsibility in the system, but if you do that, you're an outlaw to the system and you're out.
That is going to happen.
So
Yeah,
how
they're
are
going to
you
fight. They're
and
going to
I
fight.
and anybody else going to
The institutions are going to
personal
fight to control
responsibility?
power.
So what do? So what's
There needs to be a critical mass where people go, this just ain't going to work.
And then they just knock
it's
that
like with
institution
Snowden.
down?
What he said and what he brought to light is important. Are you backing up? Okay, there you go. Well, anyway.
okay? Are we still going?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Going back to, we're talking about personal responsibility.
Yeah. How do you? You're an individual in a institution. I guess you whistleblow it, but how do you
Well,
maintain
the institutions will fight for survival. At that point, they are threatened. So if
And
somebody like
institutions are
Snowden's-
made up of people.
Okay. And it's just like if
There's
it's
a group
just like
think that
okay.
happens.
Well, think about this. Let's take it down to an individual basis. Is Cosby now not going to fight because he is an institution? He is an institution.
He's already fighting. Right.
He is under siege now, and he will fight to try and survive, to protect what he's the image that he's put out there. Whether he's right, whether he's guilty or not, I don't know. Not looking good, folks. But did the Catholic Church, is it not fighting? Is it not digging
Yes,
in?
institutions
I mean, they're
will fight.
paying off stuff, but you know, for a lot of these institutions, Wall Street, it's a whole lot easier for them to pay a fine that's equal to
Right.
a week's worth of revenue
Then the CEO going to jail.
than the CEO going to jail.
That's where another aspect where the system's broken. We should have people going to jail and paying fines.
Yeah,
the
there needs to
institution
be-
pays the
yeah,
fine,
yeah.
and individuals within the institution go to jail.
Right.
Whether that's Wall Street or a priest in Catholic Church. And
Yeah.
so this too big to fail is not, no individual
Too
should
big
be.
to fail or too
Yeah,
big or too
right,
important to jail.
Right.
Yeah,
That has
nobody's
gotta change.
too important to jail. There's not a priest on the planet that's
Not a
not
human
too
being.
important
Yes.
to jail for being a pedophile.
Absolutely.
Right.
And there's not a Wall Street executive
No.
too important
To jail.
for crimes committed.
For crimes committed that led to the Wall Street, almost to the economic collapse.
Right.
And you could say there's not
You kill a black man for selling individual
Yeah.
cigarettes.
there's not a
Wall
there's
Street
not
down
a
the
cop.
road.
Yeah, there's not a cop or a police institution that's
Yeah.
too important that one of their own can't go to
Prison.
jail and prison.
Right. You don't have to
For
rally.
doing that.
Don't have to. The institution, doesn't. Is the institution can be cleaned out with other people can be put in.
Yeah, yeah. So
Anyway, I think on that note, I think we've made a crack at understanding it. I don't know. Personal responsibility at the end of the day comes in.
well, I think it's like it's like I said, my personal responsibility it is to my family and my immediate situations that I'm in to hammer out.
But it's the way you handle yourself in your work,
Well,
in
it
your
is.
career, and your
It is.
family.
It
right.
is. It is. It's all of that. And if everybody takes that on, now there are going to be people that don't believe that. They're not going to do it. They say that's bullshit. We don't need to apologize for anything. And those are, smug, macho.
What, America doesn't need to apologize, or they don't need to ever apologize for anything they've done?
Yes.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's above smug and arrogant is stupid.
Yeah.
I also always felt like there's less evil in the world and there's more stupidity.
Yeah.
I'm being tested on that these days. But that's what I hold on to.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, we're going to bow
this
out
was
here.
a
It's
more
loud.
serious
We're not
13.
going to do this outside shit anymore. This is like,
Yeah.
people do not respect.
Appreciate Carl and Mike.
They do not respect our studio space. They just assume that it's
Yes.
what it is, which is just plopping down at whatever fucking table we got. Okay, all right.
So let's wrap this up. Don't check us out at carlandmike.net. We have our show notes there, our links to things from this conversation that we placed there. And we're also on Facebook, Carl and Mike, Twitter, Carl and Mike. You get the drift.
Yeah.
Pinterest now for our artwork and political humor, Carl and Mike
Yep.
on Pinterest. Do we got anything else?
No, we're not yet.
We're on our way, though.
We're on our way.
We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Peace.